If I'd been thinking, I would have insisted on not following Marcy. I'm Jason Probst. I'm the news editor at the Hutchinson News, and you guys are about to find out why I write instead of talk. That's a picture of the Capitol building, and last year there was a lot going on in Topeka. A lot of bills being passed, a lot of bills being talked about. I'm kind of like, Marcy, this is 20 seconds? So I wrote a column, and I'd been working on it for a while, and I felt pretty good about it. And when it came out online on Saturday night, I posted this on Facebook. And that's the only thing I did as far as trying to get this column out there. And then people picked up on it pretty quick, ran in the paper the next day. And this was Easter Sunday. So I didn't do much except what I do on a normal Easter, and that's do the things you do with your family, go to church, go to dinner, things like that. So I really didn't know kind of what was going on behind the scenes until quite later in the afternoon when I started getting emails in. And they started coming from a lot of different places and from a lot of people I had never heard from before. And a few of them trickled in on Sunday night, and I thought, well, I'm going to sit down and write these people back. I try to write people back if they take the time to write me. So I sat down and wrote, 10 emails out. And I got some from people I didn't expect. Like this one is from an assignment manager at Fox News in Florida. And I don't know how he got me, but he's a journalist there. And I got quite a few emails from journalists around the country who said they really liked the power of that column and they appreciated that. Here's one that came in from someone in St. Louis who wanted to make sure I knew that they had seen or had made sure that it was being distributed in Baltimore, Denver, San Jose, all over. And these things just kept coming in, and it was pretty early into Monday that I realized I was not going to answer these emails. Then somebody pointed out to me that Thomas Frank, who wrote the book What's the Matter with Kansas, had put it on his Facebook. And this doesn't show it, but I think he has about 7,500 Facebook followers. So that kind of helped spread that out a little further and just kind of keep that thing going a little bit. Then a friend of mine called me in the middle of the next day and told me that Rachel Maddow had tweeted it. And I don't really watch much TV news because I'm a newspaper guy, so why would I do that? But Rachel Maddow has 1.5 million Twitter followers. So when she put it on her Twitter account, it really went all over. And then around the same time, it started going in other newspapers. I think this is one from the Kansas City Star. And I'm pretty sure that the Star reprinted it at the demand of their readers. There were other people who had seen it online and kind of bothered the editorial staff up there until they ran it. This ran in other papers in the state too, a lot of papers in the state. Then I started noticing it was on other places online. This is the Daily Cause, which is kind of I don't know, it kind of picks up on things that are going on at the time. It was on there, it ended up on Reddit, it ended up on FARC, which I don't know much about FARC, but apparently that's the thing. Then the Huffington Post called, and they wanted to do a story and kind of pin it, not a little bit on this column, but kind of the struggle in Kansas politically over things that were going on. And it is weird being interviewed. I'll just say that as a reporter. I do the interviewing, and she kept trying this trick on me where she just leaves the silence and hopes that you fill it. And I'm like, girl, I know how this works. You can't see this very well, but that's 8,242 shares on Facebook. And that's just from our site. This thing ended up, people were posting it on their blog sites. They were posting it on different sites that I couldn't even begin to track where all this went. Then NPR got involved, and they wanted to do a show. And so I did that, and that went nationwide. That my brother in Colorado heard it, friends that I have in other places, parts of the country heard it. I didn't want to hear myself on the radio, so I went turkey hunting. So not everyone liked it, though. Kansas Policy Institute did not like it. A couple of other readers didn't like it. People in this area are pretty, even if they didn't like it, they were pretty nice. Kansas City, not so much. I got some bad emails from Kansas City. Things kind of settled down a little bit, but then this is a public broadcasting station out of Topeka, that wanted to do a story, and they did a production, and I think my role was really just to read it a little bit of the column on camera, and then they used that to kind of start a discussion. So I got to do all these things. This is terrifying anxiety, because at some point I realized that I had to write another column, and that there was no way it was going to be as good as this last one, and that lots of people were watching me, some of them watching to see what the next great thing I'd say would be, and some of them to see how badly I'd screw up. This happened over the summer, partly because of this column. I got to go to Kansas Dialogue and talk to some people about the experience, and it was really a lot of fun, something I'd never done before. So because of this, I got to experience some things that I wouldn't have gotten to otherwise. And that was in Manhattan. The column ended up being used in a lot of ways. This is a brochure from this thing called Race to the Bottom, which was a conference that the University of Kansas City in Missouri held, where Kansas and Missouri are kind of in this fight to see who can cut taxes the fastest, and so they wanted to talk about this, and they used my column as part of the material. This is a vacuum because for all of this attention, I fully expected to get waylaid with letters to the editor and complaints here locally, and that didn't really happen. And I was surprised by that a little bit, but I was also a little bit okay with it because I have to live here. So the fact that nobody was attacking me on the street. This here is the last one, and this to me is what it's all about, because this came from a woman who said she was there with her 98-year-old mother-in-law in Ransom, and she read it, and she wasn't quite ready to give up on this state. And I really just wanted people to think, I wanted them to care, and I wanted them to want to know about what's going on, and this helped that. Thank you.